Okay, looks like most people are pretty set up. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Tammy. I'm the Field Development Manager here with AHCP. We have the pleasure of having Dan Dalton with National General with us to cover the Benefit Solution Program, the self-funded program that's for small businesses. He will be going over some great information today on some of the tools that they'll be able to assist if you're interested in working for the self-funded program, working with businesses that deal anywhere from 2 employees up to 200 employees, depending on the state and location. Dan, go ahead. It's all yours.
All right, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes. Thank you.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right. First and foremost, again, my name, Dan Dalton. I work with National General Benefit Solutions. I specifically work helping agents at AHCP sell our small group self-funded program. Another word for self-funded is level funded, and I'll explain very shortly. But obviously we're heading into fourth quarter. In the majority, I would say if you talked about percentages, 75% of companies will renew their small group insurance fourth quarter of the year. Already getting quite a few quotes, but there's other opportunities for all of you, especially a lot of companies, and had individual medical plans for their small groups. And it is against the law now for them to payroll deduct, contribute toward that premium. Thus, when the Affordable Care Act was started, a lot of people took group policies and moved them over to individual medical policies, and now it's just going reverse circle back to group policies, and we'll talk about a little bit further. So looking forward, I'll keep this as informative as I can. Since it sounds like we do have a larger group, I'll say, well, let's refrain from questions, and at certain times throughout the presentation, I will say, is there any questions, especially when we're talking about the inner workings of how these plans work. But most importantly, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I'll make this as informative, and hopefully we can get this done within the next 30 minutes or so. And hopefully, we can maybe help you build this product and have a lot of you add this to your portfolio. So what I'd first like to do is go to the next screen, and I'll keep this fairly brief, but just kind of talk about National General itself. Very big in the auto insurance, as you'll see here. 1.5 million, homeowners insurance 5 million, commercial line 6 billion, reinsurance, insuring insurance, and then you'll see the Assurant Health employee benefit. A quick synopsis is many of you remember Assurant Health. National General purchased my division, the small group level funded division, plus our supplemental products in October of last year. We've made some great changes. We've combined their self-funded product with ours to, I believe, probably to give the best level-funded product on the market right now. But to give you a number, you can see Assurant Health in our small group division. It says $350 million. We probably sold around $380 million of small group insurance last year. The next screen, obviously this is kind of shows National General's footprint with a lot of the carriers, and obviously you'll see AHCP, VelaPoint, many of you may be aware of. I exclusively work with AHCP and VelaPoint, and then I also work with Healthcare Solutions team. I exclusively work with them selling our small group level funded plan, and to talk about success, because like Healthcare Solutions never really even sold any group insurance. So I actually started working with them last year, and they literally had 0 small group on the books, and after last year we sold close to $3 million in our first year with Healthcare Solutions. So I'm hoping to generate some interest with all of you. And then in October 2015, that's where you will see Assurance self-funded program was purchased by National General. That was the official date that the changeover did take place. So just showing here National General's large footprint in the health insurance industry. And then on the next screen, just a little brief synopsis here. National General Benefits is wholly owned unit, National General Insurance. Obviously you can see they're into many insurance industries, but what's really great is what I like to focus on is the expertise, and I'd like to say that comes from me because I am your sole contact, which is very nice about that. Is been doing this for quite a long time. I know this product very well. I know the direction we may have to pivot in certain times, but again, as nice as I am your sole contact from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. It's not where you're going to be talking to 5 different individuals. I'll discuss that further, how you actually have your own sales support working with me, with my sales assistant and administrative assistant. And then we'll just go to the next screen here, and this is where we're going to talk about level funded. And I'm going to tell you what makes us a little bit different compared to small groups that are fully insured. And when I say small group fully insured compared to self-funded or level funded, the main thing is we are going to ask for applications when we look to get firm rates with our small group. And by doing that, these 4 bullets in the orange, what we call, are going to be level numbers. So a lot of times you're going to hear an employer say, hey, I have a plan. I think it's a great opportunity for your company. It's a self-funded program. Really, the terminology should be level funded, because when you see with these 4 bullet points, they're all set numbers, level numbers. All right. So one nice thing about our plans is it is one predictable monthly payment. All the employer ever has to worry about is after we go through the process and applications and have firm rates, is they just send in 1 check. Number 2, the employer does have much better control over the healthcare expenses due to the fact that we know what health risks they're bringing onto the group. All right, we will have them answer the medical applications. Do they have high blood pressure? Do they have high cholesterol? Many of those conditions are rated standard. However, we know what the health is, and that's pretty beneficial because we're only trying to ensure the health risks they're bringing onto the group and nothing more. Another positive is more control over healthcare expenses, and their premium is that come renewal time, we know their health. There are no, we know what we're going into next year. Number 3 is the stop loss insurance. What that is there's a portion of their premium that protects the employees from higher than expected claims. Meaning there's a portion of the premium that what that amount is the actual cost of the insurance, and I'm going to explain that on some future screens. And then one of the greatest benefits of our plan is the employer does have potential to receive money back at the end of the year, potential for refund. Basically, if the group's claims, and we'll have what we call a claims bucket, and we're going to take a certain amount of money out every month that goes into that bucket to pay claims. If there's money left over in that bucket, we are going to return that in a check back to the employer. All right, so 1 predictable monthly payment. They do have control over the healthcare expenses. 1 stop loss insurance. Heaven forbid we do have that $1 million claim, and then they do have potential for a refund at the end of the year. So what I'd like to do on the next screen is I just kind of show a side-by-side comparison, and you'll see quote details, and then you'll see on top group fully insured. Again, those are plans that are guaranteed issue. Normally what that is groups under 50 do not have to complete medical applications. However, what they're going to do is they're going to rate it based on the geographical area, tobacco use. They're going to rate it on the size of the census and the number, hoping they cover claims. Well, you can look at our plan, the NGBS self-funded plan, where we do underwrite, and you can see there that what I did is identical plans, $2,000, $4,000 individual family deductible, 100 co-insurance, utilize the Aetna Signature PPO, probably the best PPO network in the United States. And you can see, I'd like you to go down to total employer costs. This is where you can see the difference of what we could do with our plans compared to the fully insured. $9,607 compared to $16,609. Quite a savings. Now, I always want to make this clear. Not every group is going to see this savings due to the fact that we could get applications back and have a very unhealthy group. All right, so, but how this plan worked out is we actually save this company this amount of money. And then you're going to see where it says $25,000 and $43,826. I'm actually going to explain what those numbers are on the next page. And this is where actually I explain this page. I'm going to actually open it up for questions at this time. So right now we should be at the page that says stop loss insurance limits. And this is pretty much the second page of the quotation. The first page what I'm normally going to have your plan options. I normally don't give more than 4 plan options per quote. Can get a little confusing for the employer. I'm normally going to ask you, do they have a current plan design? If they do, great. I may give other options past that. If it's a virgin group who does not have any insurance at all, I actually have 2 co-pay plans and 2 health savings account plans that are the best price points, and it gives a good range of pricing between copay and HSA plans. Those quotes, that first page, is exactly like any other medical insurance. And I can't emphasize that. What I'm going to explain on this slide is just the inner workings of how the employer has the potential to get a refund. However, as far as the medical insurance, acts, feels is just like any other medical insurance. All right. Again, a lot of times we may get a little kickback saying, boy, self-funded, level funded. The only thing that is the difference is that they have a chance to get money back at the end of the year. As far as how the insurance works, meets all mandated coverages, exactly like any other insurance on the market. But what I like to do here on this screen is this is how I'm going to show you exactly how that refund potential works and how we actually break down our total premium. So when I'm explaining this and on a conference call with you with the employer, we always start on the bottom where you're going to see total, $9,607. That amount is literally broken down into the 3 numbers right above that. And I'll explain what these are, and if you're taking notes, you can write down the terminology I use. The stop-loss premium is another word for the actual cost of the insurance, $3,678. The admin, sales, general expenses, $2,276. What that is we do have to pay our PPO networks, say the Aetna Signature or Cigna PPO. We do have to pay our CVS Caremark, who our prescription discount plan goes through. Our third-party administrator, who keeps tracks of all claims, explanation of benefits, and obviously your commissions are built into that number. When we're explaining this to a customer, we don't tell them that the commissions are built into that number, obviously. But the third is the biggest number, $3,652. It's called the claim pre-funding. What we are doing is out of that $9,607 a month, we're pulling out $3,652 and putting that into that claims bucket. Meaning, let's say they chose a plan with a $40 office visit copay. So after discount of that office visit, the bill was $100. The employee pays their $40. So 100 minus 40 is $60. That's the claim portion. $60 would come out of that $3,652 for that month. Now, $3,652, and again, I always emphasize this to the employer, that is not extra money. It is built into the premium. And we are actually keeping track of this for the employer. They do not even have to worry about this. But if you take that $3,652 that we are taking out of the premium monthly, and you would times that by 12 months. If you slide up, you'll see where it says annual aggregate limit on the top of the page. The annual aggregate limit is just a fancy word for the total claims bucket or refund bucket. 3,652 times 12 months equals 43,826. So that is their claims bucket or refund bucket. So the employer is paying claims up to 43,826 if they ever get that high. Now what we are doing is calculating with the applications. We put in 125% of expected claims, so we have extra money in there. Now, granted, we don't know if someone is just diagnosed with cancer, has a quadruple bypass surgery. We don't know those things. However, we're giving a fair number for what we expect claims to be, or they could be. All right? So here's the option. At the end of 12 months, they have money left over in that 43,826. They will get a refund check back. We do have what we call a 6-month waiting period. All right? So what that means is that the policy goes for 12 months, and then we're going to wait another 6 months to see if any late claims come through. We don't want to give a refund check back and then have some late claims come through and say, oh, you know, we owe some money. So we'll do a 6-month runout period. So they technically will get that refund check on the 18th month of when the policy started. Now, let's say they have very tragically, they have some numerous things happen. They have 2 people who have quadruple bypass surgeries, and they have someone who's diagnosed with cancer, and they have $1 million worth of claims. there's no risk to the employer. They just would pay their $9,607 a month. National General pays all claims up and above $43,826. The only thing, that's where on that first orange bullet point, one predictable monthly payment, it stays the same once we have firm rates for 12 months. There's no risk to the employer. Another protection is if you see above the annual aggregate limit is what we call the specific deductible. And when you see specific, think individual. So we do have that person who needed a quadruple bypass surgery and has a $400,000 bill. The most we'll take out of that claims bucket of $43,000 is $25,000 for that individual, and that helps protection to save that claims bucket for other individuals throughout the year. Now, one thing also we work with, and I guess before we start there, this is a point where I normally open it up for questions. It's a lot of numbers I went with, but is there any questions at this point in time, at least how the claim pre-funding works, the refund works? There's no risk to the employer. Any questions at this time?
There is one question, and it
Okay.
looks like if someone has asked, did you say groups of 50 or less do not have to fill out applications?
Nope. What it is, on our plans, no matter what size group, they have to fill out applications. All right, to clarify that comment, our competitors who sell what we call fully guaranteed issued group policies, many of them will not request applications for that type of plan until you get to 50 employees enrolling. So for our plan, we're always going to have applications completed because that's how we're going to calculate that claims bucket and refund bucket. Our competitors, fully insured guaranteed issue plans, in most cases will not ask for applications until they get to 50 employees. Any other questions there? All right, and then we'll keep moving. So now in the middle, you'll see there's a 4-tier rating. And how we work our plans is their employee, employee spouse, employee child, and family. We have 4-tier ratings. So what that means is you can see the employee rate. We have nine employees at $361.86. So if you have someone who is 30 years old or 55 years old, that rating is 361. We do not do age-banded rating for our groups. Employee spouse, employee child, and a family rating. Family rating also, you could have 2 children, 3 children, 5 children. That is the family rating. But how our plans work is, in actuality, when we do this type of 4-tier rating, it actually helps the overall rates for a group. Now, the employers really like this as far as paperwork on the back end, because once they have this rate, they know it's very simple for them. They know, hey, I know my employee rate is 361. They don't have to look at and call up and find what the age rate it is and then calculate what percentage they're going to pay toward that premium. All right, so employers very much like the simplicity of how our plans work. Now, when we have small group insurance, the portion that the employer is required to pay to qualify for a small group policy is 50% of that employee rate. So you can see right here the employee rate is $361.86 per month. So if you take that $361 and divide that by 2, the employee's paying $180 and the employer's paying $180. Now, they can pay more if they want, but that is the minimum requirement that they would have to contribute on a small group plan. Any questions on that? Okay. Let's go to the next screen and we'll talk about some of the unique program features of our plans compared to our competitors. We just talked about the 4-tier rates. Now we have the flexibility with our plans is when we're filling out the final paperwork. The employer has the opportunity to, on our plans, offer insurance to part-time workers, because our plans, to be eligible to be on the insurance, we can go all the way down to 20 hours per week. Obviously, we can go to 40 plus. All right. So if a lot of times the employer says, I do want to offer insurance to my part-time workers, we have the benefit that we can go down to meet that requirement, at least averaging 20 hours per week. Now that also helps us regarding flexible participation. What you see here is sometimes, they're like, boy, we just really want to offer insurance to our people who work 40 hours a week. So if you put 40 hours a week, they do not have to offer insurance to someone who works 30 or 35 hours a week. All right, that's a way to wean out participation and really look at the certain type of employees that they want to insure. Now, a very popular feature of our plan is one I don't have listed on here, but we will insure 1099 employees. In the last 3 months, I can't tell you how many 1099 employee groups that I've insured. It's something that our competitors do not do. I mean, you can look at real estate firms, sales types of firms, financial firms. It's become very popular, and it's definitely a market that is being untapped right now. Another very beneficial type part of our plans that our carriers do not like to do also is we can cover employees in multiple locations, multiple states. Meaning, we have a corporate headquarters in Ohio, but they have employees in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin. If they work for that company and they're just located in those multiple locations, we can put them all under one group coverage. One group I sold, I had employees in 7 different states. It's a huge thing that it makes it so much easier instead of having different policies in different states that we can put them down under one umbrella. It's a huge, great program feature for our types of our plans. Now, market niches. This is where I want to talk about group size, and this is where I want to talk about where you are going to have the most success with our product. I will not lead you in the wrong direction. We can go down in most states down to 2 employees. They cannot be a husband and wife. All right, they have to be, 2 employees, not a husband and wife. I will be completely upfront and honest. 2 employee groups, I don't want to say our most price-efficient plans. That's why on this presentation I have 5, meaning really like to have, if we can, 5 total employees enrolling. If we're going under 5, it's really nice to have spouses and children to add more members. Plain and simple fact on group insurance is the more members we have, the better pricing we will get. All right? So we can go under 5. We can go to 2. Can't be a husband and wife. If we're under 5, it's really beneficial to be offering insurance to spouses and children also. Now, I do have here up to 200. We can go above 200, but here's the challenge we will face if we're looking at those larger groups is, again, we are going to ask for applications to be completed. Now, the applications literally are yes or no answers. If you're taking a medication, please list it down. If you check the box like Crohn's disease, we are going to want to know the date of diagnosis, any treatment, and any medications you're taking. However, when we get into the large group space, we do not experience underwrite, meaning, they'll take a look at a claims report and give a price. We are going to have them fill out applications. And it's tough when we get to groups starting at, I'll be honest, even over 50, for them to take the time to fill out those applications. We are very close to having online applications, but they still have to complete those. So I know we've quoted groups up to the 300 range. All right. However, it's hard to get those applications. Our selling strong point are groups from 5 to 30. All right. If you're going to go out and target, I will tell you that you will have the most success with our product if you're targeting groups of 5 to 30 employees enrolling. All right. And obviously we can add spouses and children to that. And I can tell you, you get a 25-person group, a 20-person group, even a 15-person group, depending on what plan designs they're taking, you're talking plans of over $100,000. All right, so there is substantial monies to make in that realm. But that is the size group and I are going to have the most success to sell, 5 to 30. All right. Now, in industries that I'd like to call on, first and foremost, we should, if you get an opportunity, you and I will work that project together. So many of you have never sold group insurance before, so any opportunity we get a quote, we should quote it. However, there are some industries that maybe have a younger, healthier group compared to other industries, and those are more on the right-hand side. IT, retail, auto dealerships, moving and storage. One thing I don't have listed on here, and I'm going to update this, is I've had some great success with landscaping companies. IT companies are very popular because they're younger groups normally. Fair or not fair, male-dominated groups are less expensive than if we have a female-dominated group. Okay? Hospitality and food service are something that agents say, I'm going to go after that. They're young and healthy. Well, the issue, I just always want to make sure that agents understand if you're going to go after the hospitality and food service is, first of all, they don't make a lot of money. All right, so a lot of them can't even afford the insurance, even if we come in with a great price. Because ultimately what happens, and I see the majority of the time, is we'll quote a restaurant with 40 employees, and when it's all said and done, maybe 7 of them take the insurance. So if you're going to target hospitality and food service, be aware that what you start out with probably isn't where we're going to end up. All right? But I've literally written groups in every imaginable industry: doctor's office, dental offices, manufacturing companies, auto dealerships, everything you see here. Now, one thing that I exclusively used when I was an outside salesperson, and I was a 100% commissioned outside salesperson for 15 plus years, is I used, and many of you may know this, Reference USA. All right, there are lead generators you can do, obviously, referrals, people you know, but I exclusively, when I was targeting companies to call on, used Reference USA, where I literally could target a zip code, certain size company, type of company, and I would put that in the search on Reference USA, and it would spit out 25 companies in that geographic area that I could call on. All right, I highly recommend using it. I used it through the library because it was free access if I was in the office. Worked out extremely well. So if anyone needs help with that, please let me know, and I will help you how I utilize that. But that is literally how I built my business. Okay. Now let's talk about plan designs, because this is, something that's, compared to our competitors, is a very nice thing too. Is most cases we do not have set plans besides a few states, and again, I don't want you to have to worry about this, but because I'll tell you what direction you have to go in. However, we can mix and match any type of benefits. So we are going to, though, always use a PPO. We do not sell an HMO, doctor or hospital network. Okay, so in most cases we are going to quote the Aetna Signature PPO or the Cigna PPO. All right, we also have HSA plans, health savings account plans. We sell HRA plans, deductible options. We can go in some states down to $250. Most states are $500. And in many states we can go up to $6,600. So when we're quoting a plan, we can literally find a plan that's going to work well for them because they're not canned plans. We can have deductibles anywhere from $250 all the way to $6,600. Multiple coinsurance options, 100%, 90-10, 80-20, 70-30. We have plans both with doctor or prescription copays. We have many ranges of copay options also. And also, we also preventive services covered at 100%. All right, so they go in for the annual checkup. Our plans meet all the mandated coverages of each state: maternity, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, mental behavior, all part of our plans. Now the next screen is a screen where we have plan options. We're actually going to bypass this screen just due to the fact that it's nothing that you really need to be worrying about. I'm going to guide us in what product we're going to sell depending on the state and group. But I'd like to go to the next screen, which should be a offering by state. And what I like to do on this screen is don't necessarily look at 10 enrolling tick greater than 50, but this is a screen that I like to tell you where our most competitive states in, because when I look at my job with you is I need to tell you where you're going to have the greatest success. The states in the blue are our most competitive states. Okay, so you can see the states in the blue. But also, and I can get some better information to Tammy also, but there's other states that were very competitive since we've had rate decreases. In the state of Iowa, our rates starting on 12/1 are decreasing 20 to 30%. almost across the board, across the country, our rates are decreasing 10%. It shows you how this plan has been very profitable and that we can actually lower our rates compared to our competitors. But the state of Iowa had the greatest decrease in price of 20 to 30%. If any of you do quote or quote in the state of Iowa, or if you want to quote in the state of Iowa, it is instant competitiveness in the state of Iowa. Another state where we are going to be extremely competitive, starting 12/1, is the state of Florida. All right. Where I've had the most success recently has been Arizona, Kansas, Illinois, Georgia, South Carolina. Now there's also some other states in the yellow where we are extremely competitive also. I just haven't had time to change the screen here, and I'm actually going to tell you Tennessee, Missouri, Nebraska. All right, so that's kind of why I like to have that screen. On the next screen here, this is very important because you're going to get this question because, again, people get, you know, I don't want to say they get very nervous, but when they hear self-funded, they're saying, boy, I mean, is it a special type of plan? Not at all. Again, AHCP feels is just like any medical insurance. Your standard line is, hey, the only difference is you're going to need to fill out applications because you actually have a chance to get money back at the end of the year. However, yes, our plans meet all minimum essential coverages of the Affordable Care Act. All right, we meet all minimum value requirements. We do abide by all state mandated benefits and essential health benefit requirements. All right. Now, simple quote process. I like to say it's literally a three-step process. All right. First is we really can't go nowhere unless you provide me with a quotation request. I have a standard census form. Tammy may have it. If not, I'll get it to Tammy, or you can reach out to me directly and I will get it to you. But basically our first step is, Dan, I've got a census here. Okay, so send that to me. On that census form, I have all the information I need to quote. I need a physical zip code of the company. I actually don't need all individual employee zip codes. I just need the physical zip code of the company. Need the name of the company, and I do need to know what actually does that company do, all right, because I do have to enter an SIC code. And then all I need is, you don't even have to, if you don't want, is give me employee names. If you do, I will enter them. However, I need to know the employee's gender, date of birth, and if we are going to include spouses and children, I do need a spouse's date of birth and how many children. That is all I need to start a quotation for you. I have on that quotation page, if they have current benefits, can you please put those down? If they don't, as I said, I'll quote 2 co-pays and 2 HSA plans to start. You'll send that to me. I'll work up the quotation and I'll email it to you. I'll immediately with that application email you the applications for that state if it's a state-specific application, and I'll say, let's review. Especially for most of you who've never written a group plan before, I want you talking to me before you present to the customer. All right? I will teach you how to sell the product based off of that quotation. All right? If you say, Dan, are you willing to do a conference call with the employer? Of course I will. The only thing I ask is that you qualify the group, meaning, hey, with this quote, is this pricing within your budget? And are you sincerely interested? Please qualify that. If they are, I most definitely would do a conference call with you and talk to the employer. So let's say we do that conference call. The employer says, I like how this product works. I'm very interested. Next step is for them to fill out applications. We have them fill out applications. You send those to me. I'm going to send them to underwriting. That's step number 2. Underwriting sends me what we would call an underwriting load, meaning maybe we had to increase that price due to the fact that we did have somebody who has Crohn's disease. All right, we do have someone who has some medical conditions. All right, I'm going to call you and say, okay, this is where we're at with the underwriting load. I write many groups that are rated standard. From the price we started is the price we sell it. Maybe it's gone up a little bit. I will talk to you about that. All right, I'll ask you, do you think we can sell it at this price? Or I might come back and say, hey, I need some more information on this health condition because I think I can get this underwriting load down if you can help me. So there's a lot of work I'll be doing behind the scenes that you won't know about to get you the best rates. So once we get to a final rate, that's where step 3. We're going to close the business together and the employer fills out the what we call the employer submission kit, and we've sold our first group. So it's a 3-step process, and again, I will assist you every step of the way. Any questions there on the quoting process, because that's important? Is there any questions on that, Tammy?
Nope, not on that portion.
Okay, excellent. All right. And then I'm close to that 30 minutes as I promised, so we'll kind of go through this with the culture. You know, it's nice. What I'd like to say is quotes. I can normally turn around same day or 24 hours. I know how important it is for you when we're trying to close business to get quotes back. I'll never forget when I was asking for quotes and I wouldn't hear anything for a week, how that would drive me nuts. I won't do that to you. And if there is going to be a delay, I will reach out to you. Underwriting, that's where if you get me back the applications, in most cases we can get underwriting and our final rates back 24 to 48 hours. Advice, I will definitely tell you directions we need to go. Let's say we run into some complications or some issues that we have to discuss. I know many avenues that we can pursue or what we can offer the employer to help us sell the group. And obviously my job is to offer you to help you sell more business. And when I say that is when we sell group insurance, I can't overemphasize that you have every opportunity to sell any type of supplemental insurance with the groups. Dental, vision, AME, critical illness. It's just another great way for you to make more money selling group. I mean, I can't tell you, and it does happen where we don't get the group business. However, the agent sold 20 AME policies. Use it as a marketing tool. Hey, we might not get every group, but now you're in the door to sell them other products. Next screen, again, innovative product. We've been selling this product for over 15 years. Top-notch sales support. You work with me exclusively. If I'm not in, or if you need an answer immediately, Tammy is my sales assistant who will answer your phone call. And then on business that we have wrote, that is on the books, you actually working with me will have your own administrative assistant on groups that if you have a question on. All right. And then on the last screen, it's got my direct number. It has my email address. And I thank you for all your time. Like I said, I try to keep this within 30 minutes because I know everybody's time is valuable. And at this point, we'll open up for questions.
Okay, here we go. We have a couple. First, question that came across. Can any new businesses apply? Oh, can you hear me? You're welcome, Mark. Have a good day. Hello? Can you guys hear me? I'm good. How are you? There we go. Okay. So Dan, if you're able to hear, the first question that had came up was, can any new business apply? We might have lost audio with Dan. I believe that everything would be the same. Are you there, Dan? Did we lose audio with you? We might have left some audio, or lost audio, I apologize, with Dan. What I have here, though, is I do have several questions from the group. I will be working with Dan on answering some of these and make sure that you all get responses. Also, this is a recorded webinar, so it will be available in our training library, and I also try and follow up with sending out the link for you guys to be able to access that video if you want to review anything, further, just kind of go over some additional information. I do apologize that we've lost some audio with Dan. I was hoping that he would be able to finish up. I hope he's still able to hear us. Just kind of going through, let you guys know that if you are needing to get appointed at all, feel free. You can reach out to Agency Services. This is a benefit group through TIC formerly Assurant. You can reach out to agency services at contracting@ahcpsales.com. They can help you out if you're not appointed already. If you're appointed, this is something that you do have available to you. It is for the Benefit Solution Group. It's in the small business, and it should be there in your appointment. So as long as you have that writing number, it is something that you do have access to. If not, as I said, feel free to reach out to agency services at contracting@ahcpsales.com, and we can get you that appointment set up moving forward. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to go ahead. You can reach me directly at 503-459-0457, or you can reach out to Dan. His contact information is up on the screen. I can kind of help navigate some of that information, or just send it directly over to Dan if it's something that I'm not able to assist with and he has the answer to. We do appreciate everybody joining us today, and we will definitely make sure to send out a response to everybody's questions and get that taken care of for you all. I hope everybody enjoyed the program and look forward to everybody getting out there and working with those small groups. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.